I guess first question is, just how's life been? How's camp been since your last fight? Because like Bryan was in here earlier, and he said he was approached for this fight. He thought it was a relatively quick turnaround for himself, but he jumped all over it. So I guess, since we last saw you to now, just how's life been and just camp and everything?
Life has been good, man. Life has been good. I can't complain. Just been grinding. Same, ain't nothing changed for me, bro. I just been on the clock still, grinding, getting better, developing, doing what I need to do. But yeah, life has been good. I would have loved a potentially ranked opponent, but you know what it is for me. I gotta keep working.
Well, to kind of go off of that, I was going to ask about this later, but I'll ask now. 7 of your last 8 fights have been wins. They've been impressive wins. They've been wins over names like veterans and people on the rise, just kind of a mix of both. So I guess, do you feel like you're kind of overlooked in this division because you've been fighting in the UFC for almost 10 years now, and people still kind of label you as this up-and-coming welterweight, even though you've been on the roster for longer than the guys that are even in the co-main event?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's my momentum. I get the momentum, and then after I fight a guy, and then I get set back, and then I go on another 4-5 win streak or whatever, and then every time the breakthrough moment happens, it's like I get set back. So like the casuals don't really get to see me. They only see me in maybe those moments where I maybe came up short. But if you tapped into the sport correctly, you know what time it is when you know Randy Brown's on the card. So. Right.
And Bryan was in here, and since his last fight, when he did that speech after his win in Paris, he feels like he's never been more kind of like he's done more media obligations. There's been more posting about him. He's generated more buzz since that moment. So while he might not be ranked, do you view Bryan as a guy that's maybe can get you that buzz around your fights because of how popular he is right now?
Yeah, for sure. But I've seen them before. They come and they go, man. I've been around. I see them. They get their moments, and I'm happy for him, proud of him, doing what he's doing. But I do think that he's someone that I can definitely bounce off of to kind of help me move forward. But I'm not really looking at that. I'm just looking at him as another guy. Either way, he's just someone that I need to get past to continue to move forward to my ultimate goal.
So what do you make of his skill set in there? Because obviously his last win was very impressive, but even before that he was on a little bit of a roll too, but people just weren't talking about him.
I think he's a tremendous athlete. I think he's a tremendous martial artist, and I think he puts it together well. Most impressed with his durability, his ability to take damage and continue to move forward. He's a grinder. With that being said, I've seen him before. So I think that this is one of those fights where he's gonna run into someone that's more experienced and has seen it all before, and that's gonna really be a shocker for him when he experienced that levels that there's levels to this. Ultimately, with all due respectfully, there's levels to this. So I think that he'll feel that come Saturday night.
And I do have to bring it up because obviously winner of the Ultimate Fighter versus a guy that was on looking for a fight. The two outside of the Contender Series, those are the two that you'd have to go through to get into the UFC. So is that a storyline that you like fans to grab onto? Like you are kind of representing for the guys from that, you and Merab, and then I think this is your second tough winner that you fought. Laborley Alvarez, I think it was tough Brazil. Mm-hmm. But do you like that fans kind of grasp onto that, like just representing 2 different ways to get to the UFC?
I didn't even think about that. It's kind of like it's a throwback a little bit, right? But I didn't think about that. But yeah, it's cool. I think it's cool knowing that I got into the UFC, early on when Dana started looking for a fight thing, and even then I never really got like a big push or nothing like that. It was more so Sage and Mickey and those dudes, and it was sink or swim. They got the little matchups that were gonna boost them up, and you know what I mean. I got the dogs for real, and in turn that made me a killer. That made me who I am today. So I wouldn't have it any other way. But I think it's dope. I think it's dope that they could kind of make that a storyline. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And then just last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the co-main event, considering it is in your weight class? That
should have been the main event, but yeah, I think given it was last minute, I understand. But I think that's a great matchup and great. I just think it's a great matchup for 2 guys undefeated that, seemingly they trained together and seemingly they were not going to fight each other, and it comes to a head last minute. I think it's cool. I'm excited for that fight more so than, the main event.
Randy, right down in the middle here. You were linked to a matchup with Carlos Prac, it seemed like. I guess what happened there? Why did it ultimately not happen?
I don't know. Well, the UFC they never sent me an actual contract. They sent me an offer, and they told me, hey, would you like to fight Carlos Pratas and MSG? And no, on December 7th. And I was like, yeah, definitely. And then, which would have been this weekend. And then they came back and were like, actually, you want to fight in New York? And it just wasn't enough time for me to fight in New York. I just wasn't ready. It wouldn't be time for me to get ready. I kept my date. And they asked him if we wanted to fight December 7th. He said no, and then that was that.
Is that one that you'd like eventually to happen? I don't know if you heard, like before his last fight, I believe he made a comment about you being easy money.
Yeah, he knows that's not true. He's just talking shit. He knows that's not true. What do you think? Me or Magny? Who do you think is the harder fight?
Who do you think's the harder fight?
Yeah, everybody turned to look at him and see what he was going to say. I said what you going to say. Who do you think is the hardest fight? Go ahead.
I mean, I think you posed a lot of some different threats for him. I mean,
me and Magny ain't the same, bro. Me and Magny, stop that. Stop it. Stop the bullshit. Me and Magny is not the same.
No Magny catching strays here.
It is what it is. I tried to fight Magny for years, and now he's on a decline. It's like me and Magny are not the same. And Pratas got his hype. He's coming along right now. He's a good fighter. Shout out to him. But again, this game is. I've been in this game for how long, right? There's a reason I'm still here. There's a reason. Never lost 2 fights in a row. Always showing up. Always putting on his performances. It's just these guys. They come and they go, man. Let's see where he's at next year. Let's see what happens. 2-3 years from now. Let's see where he's at.
Brandy, you come from humble beginnings. You were on the basketball team for Old Harbor High School. Could you share a couple memories from that team?
That's crazy. That's a throwback. How you know that?
I saw it on your Instagram. Did a little research.
This guy digging deep. Yeah, man, a lot of people don't know. I mean, they know my roots to Jamaica and all that. I grew up in Jamaica. You know, I moved there when I was 1 year old. People think that, you know, I'm a Springfield, Massachusetts kid, but I'm really not. You know, I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I got sent to Jamaica when I was a toddler at the age of 1. And I've been in Jamaica from 1 to 17 or 18, and, you know, I moved back here ever since. I've been going back and forth. So I went to Old Harbor High School. You know, a lot of memories, you know, a lot of friendships and family in Jamaica, you know. So, you know, Jamaica is near and dear to me. And, yeah, I played basketball. I was on a basketball team in Jamaica, Old Harbor High School. You know, shout out Gandhi. You know, just big up all of my people. I mean, I do all the time. So, yeah, that's it.
Love that. And last year, you and Joanna Jędrzejczyk visited a hospital full of children with cancer to give them hope. Do you have any charity goals going forward for the future?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's funny. My friend in Jamaica, Johan Blake, he's a runner, Olympic runner. He actually just hit me up today. He has a charity, the Johan Blake Foundation. He was asking me about it. So y'all can check out his foundation. You know, he does a lot of great things in Jamaica right now, helping the youth, helping out kids, and. Yeah, he's doing a good thing. He's always been a really good guy and an inspiration to me. So shout out to Johan. Check out his foundation.
Speaking of Jamaica, you and Aljo have a big opportunity to put Jamaica on the map again tonight or this weekend. How does that feel? And what type of statements you two are looking to make to put Jamaica on an even bigger platform?
It's cool, man. You know, the sport in Jamaica is growing. It's growing tremendously, and there's a few pioneers, guys like myself, you know, guys like Aljo, you know, that the kids look up to, you know, and it's cool knowing that we're both on the card, you know, and that we can kind of set a precedent and kind of show kids that, hey, you can, you know, you can do this. It's not impossible. Even though we had to come to America, I think that you can do it from there, and my goal ultimately is to kind of set up a foundation there, whereas we can actually, you know, start some gyms and get the kids really going and start programs so that they can actually come to the UFC without having to leave Jamaica.
Randy, you posted a video on Instagram of you beating up Michael Chiesa on UFC 5. He also fights on this card. Is there a problem there, or is that just someone you'd want to fight maybe one day?
Y'all always ask me, why you asking me about Chiesa, bro? Fuck Chiesa. There you go. Okay. Chiesa, he just did some bum shit, bro. Like, yeah, I'm not worried about Chiesa. The main guy I'm worried about is Bryan Battle.
Did you find a barber yet?
Nah, I'm about to go. I did actually. I'm about to go there right now.